Hello, everyone. It is a soggy, wet, rainy night.
But as we've been saying, happy salmon weather.
Woohoo! It is a low tide tonight. We are out at the Fox Island boat launch, and we're just exploring right around the base of the bridge. And we've got a low tide coming up in about 45 minutes, so we thought we would do a little low tide adventure with all of you. Sorry, you're not going to see us very well, but we promise when we flip the camera around, you'll see.
This is all you get, these glowing halos of information, knowledge.
We're here, we're so bright.
Woo! Okay, so we're flipping because we already found some cool stuff.
Yeah, and you should definitely post in the comments where you're watching from, because that's always interesting information for us to know. Yeah. And we've already got a star.
And this is where, we've been doing all these salmon tours, and it's been lucky for you that you haven't had smell-o-vision, because there's kind of the fresh whiff of dead fish by the creeks. But this is a sea star that smell-o-vision would be awesome, because if I kind of get my finger wet by just touching the rock here, I can give it a little rub. And then when woohoo! It's a nice whiff of kind of like a garlicky, gunpowder sort of smell.
I kind of get a bleachy smell.
Wait, you didn't smell the star, Rachel.
I mean,
you just know.
I've smelled many a star. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
but like bleachy socks, kind of. Like not fresh bleach, like sad bleach.
Sad low tide bleach.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is a nice leather star, also called the garlic star. They have that leather-like texture. This one's, I think, a little extra gooey, I'm guessing as a defense against the fresh water falling on it, because it is indeed raining.
Yeah, when in doubt, just add mucus, right?
Yeah.
If you're going to survive the low tide, mucus is what you need.
We're already starting a slimy, fun, weird thing, and you know it's going to be a great night.
I'm hearing, and probably our microphones are not going to pick this up, but I'm hearing all sorts of kind of snap, crackle, and popping of the barnacles that are here, and these rocks are just covered in those barnacles.
Yeah.
Also, I'm hearing some larger scuttles of probably purple shore crabs. We'll see what we can find.
Yeah, it's kind of fun to just pick a rock when you go to the beach and just see how many different sea creatures you can find living on the rock. So Rachel mentioned the barnacles. Are they the little
tiny limpet?
flies?
Yeah, these are brine
flies. And then some different red algae species. Mastocarpus.
Super cool. Oh, speaking of crabs.
Yeah. Oh, buddy.
Look what we've got.
Leafy.
Oh, she's looking a little worse for wear.
Yeah.
My friend, are you alive?
I
have it. I'm holding the flag.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, she's sleeping.
Hi. See, this is... Okay, for those of you who are scared of handling crabs, a lovely lady crab like this, who has no pinchers, is a great opportunity to practice your crab wrangling, because there's no way to get pinched if they don't have any pinchers. I'm not sure if this is like a bad 2020 omen, but 2020's been rough and
more ways than one. Poor girl.
At least we're not this kelp crab. So Rachel, how do you know that this is a lady kelp crab?
Yeah, so the what I look for, and with a big kelp crab like this is their mature size, and so a male crab would have very large red pinchers, but even without the pinchers, I can tell that this is a female by looking at that abdominal flap right there. See how wide and big that is, and it touches kind of the legs on either side. It's also kind of bowed outward. That is all for holding eggs, and the lady crabs are the ones with the eggs, so we can tell that this is a female crab. Now, if she's young enough
she's got some good shadow puppetry behind her.
Look at that.
Get that in the shot. But yes.
So scary. Sorry, guys. It's late. It's hard to be professional on a Saturday night at 10 p.m. What are you going to do?
It's kind of that exciting thing where you have a job that is like, oh, I get to get out of the house and go to the beach with Rachel? Okay.
In the rain?
Anything. I'll get out. I'm noticing.
So if she's young enough and if she's got enough energy, she may be able to molt again, and that means to shed her outer shell, and then they do have the ability to regenerate limbs that are lost. So those walking legs, as well as her pinchers, will form again in miniature, of course, because they don't have a ton of room inside that shell. And then the next time she molts, and she'll molt again and again. And maybe by 2 or 3 molts, she'll have some functioning, some pinchers. That will work if she makes it that long. What's hard for her is to find food at this point, because she'll need to find food that is
point out her mouth parts.
Yeah, she's got these
right
mandibles,
here.
these kind of, I think they're called chelicera, which is...
Yeah, there's chelicerae, there's pedipalps, there's a whole beautiful set of pairs of all these things that take food and rip it into tinier pieces so that
so they can eat. So you won't get bit by a crab because their mouth parts aren't strong enough to bite you, but pinched certainly, but not from her.
I think she just winked at you all.
So the eyes.
Oops. Well, I'm pointing and holding my foot. This is not. Sorry.
Good point for you. Right? The eyes are right up there, and they're kind of disguised by this rostrum. Her little nose points out and protects her eyeballs a little bit, so she can manipulate those and move them backwards and forwards. And she's probably wondering, why in the world is there a bright light at 10 o'clock in the evening? It's been dark for hours. I think the sun set today at 4:30 p.m. So,
oh my gosh.
Welcome to winter in the Northwest.
We'll wish you well, little lady.
So great. So when they do molt, I should mention that they take their entire bodies out of their shell. And so there's this little seam right at the back there. And that's going to open up, and her whole body will come all the way out like a hand coming out of a glove. And all those little eye stalks and those little complicated mouthpieces, they'll all come with her. And then she will have regenerated a few tiny little legs, hopefully. Poor girl.
Here.
Hearing.
Is it? Yeah.
So we'll leave her as we found her, because of course we want to leave the beach pretty much how we came to it. Oh, we've got more sad 2020 happenings here. This is a freshly dead kelp crab. And look at the color on the inside. Yeah. It's really, really beautiful.
Go ahead and flip it over so you can see that kind of
I would say
shape.
This could be a molt, but knowing that we're in the wintertime, the water temperature is colder now, it's pretty unlikely that this is a molt. Usually molts also, nobody messes with them, so it wouldn't be in pieces like this. We usually find our molts whole. I'm guessing somebody had lunch here. Here's another crab carapace. This is a red rock crab.
And then I see its pincher over here.
Oh, yeah. So
just classic with that black tips of the red rock crab.
I feel a bit like murder mystery.
And look at this.
Ooh, and a lucky penny. Okay, maybe 2020 is not so bad.
There's hope. That's shiny too. Woo, woo, woo.
That's nice. That's a fresh one. All right. So we're gonna head. Oh yeah, see more crabs.
More crabs. I'm seeing some more leather stars. And another crab missing pinchers.
Ooh, rough.
But that looks like it's more dead than, well.
Oh no, still alive.
No, strange.
Somebody was hungry and went on an eating spree, I think. More leather stars, and you can see these ones. Gravity is cruel to the soft-bodied animals of the intertidal. They get a little droopy.
This one's nice because you can see the suction cup tube feet kind of hanging onto this rock. Sometimes when they get this weird twisted appearance, that might make you think, sea star wasting disease, but to me this one's just gravity because I'm not seeing any white lesions or signs of disease. So that's good, but here's those little suction cup toes. And
and these guys have a little eye spot at the end of each arm, so they always kind of tilt upward. And that's kind of a fun thing. If you're ever drawing a sea star, just draw their little tips of their arms pointed right up. There's a little eye in there. And they can see, who knows what they can see. They don't have a brain to process visual imagery, but there's some indication they can see like light and dark. So there's been some studies done on sea stars and how far they travel and how they orient when humans interfere with where they are. And so it's thought that maybe they can, there's a big crab.
Oh, nice. I'm going to, while you fish that friend out, I want to talk a little bit about the Madraporite, because I talked about white lesions and weird things, and you might be thinking, well, there's a thing on its back. What's wrong with it? That's the filter or the pore that the sea star uses to take water into its body so that it can operate those hydraulic powered tube feet. And so let's check out this crab.
So this is a red rock crab, although it's looking fairly
looks
purple.
really purple. Yeah.
Normally they're like a brick red color. But this is purple.
Is it a guy?
I think it is a guy based on the pincher size. And then if we look at that abdominal flap down there, you notice it's really pointed and doesn't reach all the way to the legs on the sides. That's how we know that this is a male.
What's up, dude?
So, and he's faring a little bit better than our female kelp crabs because his pinchers are intact. All of his like antennas and everything.
Missing one leg here.
Oh, he's missing one leg.
But again,
Bummer.
molt, regrow. What a cool adaptation for a hard-shelled creature like this.
Yeah, not bad. And it's but there's no wood to knock on, but it's not raining. Okay, so here's what a dead crab looks like.
A dead crab and then stars that have fallen.
Oh, gravity!
We are not
look at this. You
Spider-Man.
can see those 2 feet of this animal. Look at them wiggling. They remind me so much of like rice and ramen noodles.
Really stinky.
Okay, we can move
Again,
away from the stinky crab.
Remember when I said you were sad that you didn't have smell-o-vision? You are now not sad because that is rank.
You know, there's a shell here in the middle of nowhere. This is not where a snail belongs.
Guess what? Rachel's gonna teach you how to find a hermit crab.
This is a hermit talk here.
Dun, da, da, da.
Inside here, sure enough, instead of a snail, there are some little legs of a hermit crab friend. And we'll leave them down. I'll find more. There's lots of hermit crabs at this beach. Sometimes they will kind of come out and start moving once they've been disturbed a little
It
bit.
is
Doesn't hurt them
living
to touch them, but
in
I
a
don't wanna-
frilled dogwinkle shell, which is, I think, one of the silliest names for a snail. Frilled dogwinkle. Who made that up? We saw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, here's 7, 8,
there's more here.
9,
10, 11, 12.
10. I'm gonna stop counting. Oh, good.
Got some not so
Let's
sad
talk about
kelp crabs.
whole party. And again,
Gonna
more leather stars with, ooh, scale worm.
Oh yes.
This is like the parrot to a pirate.
Okay, that's a great analogy. Scale worms are a type of polychaete, so they're distantly related to the earthworms you have in your garden. So they're a segmented worm with a separate head and a butt end. And this one happens to be a commensal species, which means it lives its life in relationship with usually echinoderms, although I have seen them with a couple of mollusks too. This one generally lives kind of in the armpits on the underside, so it's kind of freaking me out to see them right on the top there. Yeah. Maybe that's a nighttime thing they do. But they'll hide tucked underneath where the tube feet are. They help defend the sea star if there were any sort of predation happening. But more often than not, they just sort of hitchhike. They just sit there, which is really cool. And they often will be camouflaged to match their host. And they don't harm the sea star in any way, except there is some indication that they might take nibbles to accumulate the color that they are to blend in.
And a lot of times that's the gills that they'll, I think, nibble on.
Yeah.
Which for this sea star are all kind of retracted into that smooth, slimy body. So that's pretty neat. But
Okay, back to our
squirrel.
Yeah.
Another sea star.
There's so many things. So, there's another one. Wow, this is like more stars. Oh my gosh, you guys.
Everywhere.
All the stars. Okay, so this is a little
guessing
bit
male.
better off.
Oh, it's a female.
It's a lady crab, but look at that
Again.
color.
Big wide belly flap.
She's
Nice
got that
red.
gorgeous,
Oh,
gorgeous
she's
red.
pretty.
And everybody right now is watching to see if I'm going to get pinched.
Ooh,
I promise I'm a
she's
certified
real
crab wrangler.
stretchy.
And I may have made the certificate myself, but I do have it. And here we got another. This one also
is
missing one
A
pincher.
very
Tenaciously held
agile
on.
toes. Another gal. She's putting the kelp and kelp crab here, holding all sorts of seaweed.
All right, my friend, we'll put you back. I don't want to disturb you guys too much.
Okay, this is gorgeous. This
Oh yeah.
red algae,
Turkish towel maybe?
iridescent.
There's a lot of that
It's
here.
all
We're getting
smooth.
down to the low where the water is, so we should start seeing more creatures.
More creatures and more red algae. Well, I guess we see there's high intertidal reds.
Yeah.
We're in the green zone, so we're like,
Yeah, green is
Mid.
kind of right at the middle of the intertidal zone. And right now, when we started today, our tide was about like a negative 0.5 or so. It's going down to a negative too. But look, oh my gosh, how many kelp crabs there are. You guys.
Kelp crabs and leather stars. My goodness.
Kelp crab. Kelp crab.
Kelp crab. Kelp crab. Kelp crab.
Kelp crab. Kelp crab.
Like,
Kelp crab.
really
Oh, there's like 90 of them right there.
This is, yeah. It's something we see a lot of is, so there's the bull kelp, and in the kind of fall, winter, it starts dying off, and you'll just see it covered in kelp crabs. So this rock is kind of making me think of that, and it reminds me a lot of the like wastelands and the Lion King, and these are the hyenas of the intertidal zone.
The big pinchers on the males, so they kind of have. Oh, hey there, little fishy friend.
Oh,
a little Untitled Chapter action here. But the males have almost look like they're all elbows, which is kind of cool, and they get kind of a nice bright color. These are generally juveniles until they reach about 5 inches across, and they're everywhere. So we're really gonna watch where we step out here.
yeah.
Oh, and we've got do you have 4 names? No, you got 5 at this stage.
One thing that kind of like thinking about the difference between going out in the like on a low tide in the summertime versus low tides in the winter. Of course, the low tides are happening at night. But one of the main differences is the presence of this green seaweed. So in the winter, there's not as much light. Rachel mentioned the sunset for whatever. And so,
7:30.
yeah, with less light, you get less algae growth. And this leafy green sea lettuce, or Ulva lactuca, is a really, really prominent in the summertime. And this is a seaweed that's only 2 cells thick, which is really cool. You can see my hand right through it. Gorgeous. Oh, okay. New crab. I'm gonna scooch over.
Crabs really have increased in population since sea star wasting really kicked off about 2013 or so. And these guys have really moved in and kind of like I spend my life on the beach, and I had never seen one until the sunflower stars kind of went away, and now we see them all the time.
They're really fuzzy.
They're very fuzzy. They have
that was deeper than I expected. You just got my sleeve wet. Oh.
Look at the red coloration of those.
Oh, okay, wait. Let me see if I can. I'm gonna roll up my sleeve for a second. Sorry about the poor film quality. Bouncing all around.
Okay, it's an impromptu.
I want to catch that shrimp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got just a crustacean melee.
Yeah. Which I want. It'd be nice if that shrimp could demonstrate its ability to camouflage. They bury.
Yeah.
They're really good at burying themselves in the sand, which is not on the sand. It's on the seaweed.
He totally buried, but it was under the seaweed.
They do this cute thing with their antenna. Oh, look at this shrimp. Shrimp are awesome because their eyeballs glow. So you can kind of see it on the camera here, but it is bright when I'm just looking at it with my own eyeballs.
Regular eyeballs.
Let's see. Don't have the banding. I'm trying to figure out what kind of shrimp you are. Probably delicious. Okay.
I'm guessing cream stripes because he's a little stripey. Oh, we got a little baby too, red rock. Oh, and that hermit. Check him out.
Check you. Yeah, it's cruising.
It looks like maybe a grainy hand hermit crab.
Also, another nice winter thing is the water is clear.
Yes, no plankton, or fewer plankton. The only thing that really mucks it up now is like erosion and
stormwater runoff. That is a problem. Things you can do to prevent stormwater runoff. Make sure your car's not leaking.
Really awful. Whoa. Oh, buddy.
Oh, buddy.
Somebody got eaten.
But like, oh, whoa. Oh my gosh.
And he's still alive.
Oh my god, why?
Buddy. Oh, it's a
Buffalo.
Okay, you got, somebody had lunch.
Hopefully. I don't know how to do like the warning.
Sorry, trigger warning, folks.
Right? But let's just look at the head of the buffalo sculpin, because
it's a really cool fish. You can see why they get called buffalo sculpin. They have these
huge spines.
Big spines on their operculum. That's their gill covering. And this may be that commotion we heard, Stena.
Yeah,
with the harbor seal. We heard some splashing and breathing.
Okay.
So,
Gnarly.
super gnarly. Okay, moving on.
But I like kind of want to stay. Sorry.
It's gonna be there
For the sake of video content, we'll explore these nice big riprap.
Big anemone town. So we've got some Christmas anemones, also some chitons I'm seeing down in here. So this Christmas anemone, this is one of my...
Is it too early for Christmas anemones if we haven't even had Thanksgiving yet? I don't know.
No, never too early for them.
But yeah, look at
They're
those
so pretty,
tentacles.
And then there are some chitons up in here too, which is a type of mollusk that has a suction cup foot in the center, surrounded by muscle. And
Excuse you. That was a fish, we promise.
That wasn't me peeing. It was a fish.
Farting or unclear. This is another species of chitin that Rachel was just talking about. So that one was a woody chitin that we just saw. This one's a lined chitin, and they get kind of some cool coloration and interesting pattern. There's also some calcareous tube worms with some encrusting stuff on them. Normally they're kind of a bright white, and then you see the red feathery plume, but lots of stuff, right? Whenever there's space in the intertidal zone, things are going to grow on it. You can see that red bryozoan, barnacles, the jingles here.
Green short crab. There's lots of crab carcasses. I think they just
Oh, here's a little crab.
riprap here.
Little short crab.
I'll break down.
A green short crab.
We've got some snail. This is that little dog winkle. That leopard crabs really favor those shells.
Alright,
Navigate
let's go to the cool pilings. I think it's low enough that we don't have to scramble. We'll watch Rachel. Yeah.
This is not easy.
I feel like my light is a little... I can see. Can you see?
Oh, check it out. Okay, we've got a really cool giant snail.
Da-na-na-na. Oh, yes. Rachel said leafy hornmouth, in case you didn't quite catch that.
This is sorry, I got a lot of layers on right now.
Coming in.
This is a leafy hornmouth snail, and it's pretty big. This is one of the larger intertidal snails that we see. The largest would probably be our moon snail friends, but they would not be up here on the rocks. They would be down in the sand where the clams are. So these guys like to eat barnacles. And they have a radula, a rasping tongue that can scrape into the shells of the barnacles to eat them. They'll also scrape algae and things off the rocks.
Pretty cool.
Kind of sponge down in there.
I
We have
believe
to really
you.
contort to try to show you this, and I apologize. It's not.
I found evidence of a cool animal that Rachel and I have a nice friendship connection based on this keyhole limpet.
Yes.
And one of our interns. We'll tell you that story later, but focus.
Shell of the keyhole limpet. So limpets are another mollusk. So like the chitin, they have a sticky foot that they can slime around on. And they kind of just suck down. They also have a radula, that rasping tongue that can scrape at algae. Limpets are all herbivores, right?
I think so.
Cool, something to Google. I love it when I stump myself.
Yeah, and I think they're also, if you want something cute, email Rachel and ask her to draw you a limpet face, and it will make your day.
They are
Hopefully, for the 16 people tuning in.
I got 16, I got 77 on TikTok.
Oh, yeah. So what's exciting right now is we're doing a little double whammy. Purple short crab. I'm going to focus on our
so quick to
nice
get
leather star.
out.
I'm curious how the leather stars sometimes get into the places that they are. Here's that purple short crab Rachel mentioned.
Leather stars.
Got the cute polka dot pinchers.
If you're just tuning in and you want to pop in the comments where you're watching from, that's always fun for us to know where our message is going.
Yeah.
kind of folks for impacting. And then, of course, if you want to share it, that's also appreciated.
You could host a watch party this evening while you're warm at home.
Check out this anemone that I can't remember the name of. It's not a Christmas anemone. It's not a plumose anemone. It's a...
I don't...
Yep,
I would have called it a fish eating anemone.
Oh, fish eating anemone.
But they're more green. I also, but wait, look at, it's got its like digestive blobs out. Because we know names, but there's our, the light.
Okay, Tina, check out.
Christmas anemone.
Really great.
Dangling. Oh, yep, Rachel's well deserved to get very excited about this.
This is an ochre sea star. This is one of the species that was particularly hard hit by wasting disease here in the Pacific Northwest. So anytime you see a nice mature species like this, Dean and I always do a little happy dance and get excited. This one does look a little suspect.
Yeah, this looks
but
like
it looks
a lesion.
like there may be some lesions on the skin top surface. Hard to say whether those are potentially healed lesions or the start of wasting syndrome. Hopefully we're looking at some
Just an idea.
healing.
This is a big adult.
Yeah, this is big as
Again,
my
kind of like those leather stars we've been seeing earlier. They also share the Madraporite. But you'll notice their skin, it's a lot more rough.
Yeah,
There's
these
these little
feel to me like
ossicles
concrete.
that pop through. Yeah, it feels like
Pretty
concrete.
They also have, like up in the armpits, some thicker spinage.
Yeah. And for the ochre stars versus another common species we see a lot of, the mottled star, these ochre stars have a much wider central disc and kind of short stubby arms comparatively. And you can also kind of see this cool star pattern on the middle.
Oh,
So
amazing.
that's a good clue that you have an ochre star. And they come in purple and orange and kind of sometimes purple orange.
Yeah, those ones are my favorite.
Yeah, that is great to see. Again, more of these chitons.
Very treacherous, slippery.
I see a little gunnel. Trying to decide if you're a saddleback. I'm trying to look for like the orange pectoral. Maybe a crescent gunnel. Some sort of fish.
Sorry, losing my balance here, friend. Sorry. This is a moonglow anemone, nicely small, about an inch or two across.
Okay, wait. Let me join you for this moon glow
Yeah, they're beautiful. Okay,
without stepping on.
so don't fall in. So these moonglow anemones, they love to live down in the sand. You almost never see them like on rocks. They really like to be down. And when it's low tide, they pretty much like disappear down into the sand, and they kind of pull a little coating. There's a fish over there. And a crab. Look at that big, that's a big red rock crab back there. Also looking more purple than usual. Cool. Maybe they turn purple in the winter.
Another. Yeah, interesting to see them. Oh, I also see some sea cucumbers.
Yeah,
So these
cucumber
are-
faces. We'll see some more in a second.
Oh, good.
Oh, and look at the size of these chitons, Tina.
Yeah.
That guy and this one.
You might, this is one of those wild things where it's like, okay, like I see these bright colors, but then boom, animal here. Just
Yeah.
blending in.
There's another
Animal
right
there.
That's
Snail,
a big one. That
snail,
top snail's
snail.
pretty.
Yeah.
Here's another hermit friend. So anytime you see a snail shell moving quickly, it's a good indicator it's not a snail at all. They are very slow, and they don't have eyeball stalks. Well, I guess some of them do have eyeball stalks, actually. Queen conch. Oh, we got
Seeing
some
some derelict
fishing gear.
gear.
Always.
Watching, checking for hooks before I just
Oh, look at the size of that.
garble it.
It's a big red rock crab. So we're now underneath the Fox Island Bridge.
Here's another,
So these are the pilings. You probably can't see them. These are the pilings that are holding up the bridge, and this incredible habitat that is not very typical for the south part of the Puget Sound. So where we are, we have a lot of glacial till, a lot of kind of sand and rocky cobble, not a ton of big boulders. So this is like rocky habitat that you would find at on islands and things like that. And so we kind of created, with the foundation of this bridge, this artificial habitat for all these amazing
Got this
animals.
really great sea star just dangling across rocks.
Hang in there, buddy.
There's also a really, really purple ochre star over on this piling. With a bunch of kelp crabs hanging out on it.
Hard to see.
So that one looks really healthy to me. So
Yeah, that's
is
a great.
happy.
And then check this out. This is the wall.
Of what, Rachel?
Of anemones. I was gonna say wall of butts, but that's not wrong.
Well, you already said it, so.
These are aggregating anemones.
I love hearing the fish. I'm going to talk a little bit about the aggregating anemones while Rachel investigates those fish over there. But these are likely all clones of each other. So this individual could have split into multiple. And
Just swam by like a little
believe it.
thick one. You can kind of see his.
This is like.
No, you can't see him.
So back to anemone. Good job. Yay. But these would all be clones of themselves. We often joke that it would be really cool if Rachel and I could clone ourselves, and we could bring all the programs to you. But
We've got more of those. More crabs.
yeah, they're this nice green color because just kind of like we talked about the symbiotic relationship of the scale worm with the leather star and other sea star species. These have a symbiotic relationship with algae. So there's a green algae that lives
So crazy. And
under their skin.
goes up for about,
Yeah.
I don't know, 8 feet.
Anemone spotes.
And then you get to the part where it's just all
Barnacles.
over the top because
What do
it's
we
not
call
underwater
this?
enough to support the life of the
Zonation in action. High tide, low tide. Keep your friends close and your anemones closer. Again, I'm just astounded by leather star, leather star, leather star, leather star, leather star.
Crazy. Okay, I'm gonna see if I can get
Another one of our unknown anemone friends that we're gonna Google for you. Oh my gosh, we don't see gumbo kites very often. Worthy for excitement.
Hold on, I gotta reach in there.
I just put my hand on this wall and that got me. Got me good.
Okay, I'm gonna try to film and touch a creature and talk all at once. Okay, so this those chitons that we saw earlier
Yeah.
are the same
Nice.
group as this. This is gumboot chiton, and normally they're kind of reddish, but maybe that's just the San Juan variety. But if I flip it over, I can show you their underside. That's in the center is that sticky foot that they use to suction cup down. The part that I'm kind of holding in my hand is called the girdle,
Oh.
and then up at the very
Those are my pants.
Oh, Stena. Steve's getting wet over here. Oh, man. Up at the very top near my thumb is where their mouth is, their radula. They can conform, and then hidden underneath their skin on the back surface up here is those 8 plates. So they have 8 shells. They're calcium carbonate, just like other snail shells are. Speaking of, there's a little top snail right there. So this is a very primitive style of animal. Chitons have been on the earth since the time of the dinosaurs. Whereas this animal here, this is a top snail. This has been around, this is a much more sophisticated type of species.
It's okay, gumbo chitin.
No, they got it right the first time. Like, evolution was like, yep, nailed it.
Nailed it.
And didn't have to change much. So it's a really, really successful design here. Yeah. So cool to see such a big animal.
Yeah, and it's a nice clue that we do have a really nice low tide because they are pretty prevalent, like especially at Titlow Beach Park and kind of like Day Island. That's a place where
you can see
diving, you see a lot of gumbo chitons.
And, like, we've mentioned how many kelp crabs are here, but like, did you see the pile?
Oh my
There's
gosh.
like a whole pile of them. They're all just glommed on the bottom part of the spider. Also on the piling, another beautiful ochre star. Just hanging out here, more leather stars. And then this is my favorite.
Oh, yes.
Because there are
I'm going to get a little closer to you so you can tell us about Giant Pacific. Or just so I can make sure I
can
hear you.
And hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
So giant. Oh, and look, my favorite crab is hanging out in there. There is a pygmy rock crab inside there.
Oh.
And they are a crab species that's actually evolved to take advantage of this habitat of the giant barnacles. My other favorite animal that takes advantage of giant barnacles is a fish called a Grunt Sculpin, and they have really cool. Okay, this one's check it out. Stick out your feet, dude. Yeah, oh, lady. Now the thing with barnacles, I actually got banned on TikTok the first time I talked about barnacles, so I'm going to be really careful about what I say here. But they are sedentary. They're sessile. They don't move once they've settled in their larval form. They're stuck here. So this barnacle will never live anywhere else other than the piling here on the Fox Island Bridge. And so,
unless the Fox Island Bridge decides to move, then they get to go on an adventure.
Fortunate for the people who live here.
But yes, okay, so they're stuck in place.
They're stuck in place, and they, like all barnacles, the giant barnacles, these ones are the biggest ones in the world. They're, as big as your hand.
Size.
And then on the top of these giant barnacles, there are small barnacles. So there are little guys living on top, and they can move. You see them kind of squirming away from us a little bit. They're protected. Their plates kind of grow with them. So they all start out pretty tiny and then continue to grow. This white blobby stuff, this is all little tiny anemones. These are plumose anemones.
Dripping.
And these guys are some of the longer anemones. So rather than spreading wide, they kind of get tall.
I almost wonder.
What do you wonder?
They're so clustered together. Like,
The
normally
barnacles?
I see the plumose anemones and they're very maybe 2 or 3 next to each other. But this, I'm just impressed by the density. Yeah. So the barnacle, it reaches out with its.
People found the buffalo sculpin.
It reaches out with its feet, and those feet are gonna scoop through the water and grab plankton that barnacle will eat to grow larger. And you can reach your feet out. That's almost what's happening here with this one.
We have to be really careful as we navigate this habitat because, as you can see, there's life everywhere.
Everywhere. Be careful where you place your hands because it might be gooey or it might be sharp.
So barnacles are most closely related to shrimp and crab. They're in the crustacean group, which is a bit strange because they do have a calcium carbonate shell that we tend to associate with mollusks, right? The clams and snails and chitin and limpets. But they are a crustacean. There's another big, beautiful ochre star. Here's another.
Yeah, this one definitely.
Yeah, he's looking
kind of rough.
a
little sus. Yeah, and sometimes it's hard to tell if it's just gravity. So is the water draining out of the arm? This white, I don't know.
Watch your feet because here comes a big old red rock.
Oh my gosh.
And notice the
Crab
kelp
Central.
crabs just get right out of the way
Yeah.
because they're like, oh no, I'm not messing with those big pinchers. Their pinchers can snap a pencil. They're very, very strong. They really
More of
hurt.
those lovely goo blobs. This is definitely some sort of Matridium.
Oh, yeah.
So you can see
Yeah. And
that
look at the genetic
compared to that.
difference.
Yeah, the
I wonder,
colors.
did one brown one settle there and then clone itself? Because that's really how they do it. Yeah, I'm sorry if you have trypophobia. I should have put a warning on here. How do you feel about anemones?
Mini holes.
Because
Is it
a lot of people
tryptophobia? How do you say it?
really freak out about this.
The fear of holes.
Yeah.
Here's a tube worm.
Ooh. Yeah,
Try and get the light with the.
I love it.
Yeah, so a little feathery plume will reach out of this casing here. Eat.
Somehow managed to get in there before the anemones
Yeah.
blanketed this entire
Taken
island.
over. It's just amazing.
Yeah, I mean, and there's so much life here. Like,
They're so pretty.
And we're only really permitted to go, the water prevents us from going much further than this. It's only a negative 2-foot tide, but we get as far as about a negative 4-foot tide here at this location. So in kind of right around Christmas and right around the time solstice is when we experience our lowest tides in this area. And then we do have low tides every single day. I should mention that. We have high tides and 2 low tides every day. But when we get into kind of the more winter and summer seasons, we can experience lower than average. Wow, there are so many kelp crabs here.
And they're lower than average at like sort of convenient times, or maybe not.
Oh, look at this sculpin.
Nice. And like right now, there's the king tides are happening.
Yes.
And so we're seeing, in addition to these really low tides, there's also very high tides. And there's a lot of cool documentation and science around that, because these high tides give us a look at how sea level rise can impact our future.
What does that do to our coastline when we have this, this flood tide, which is the reality of where we're heading?
Yeah, I ran into a gentleman this morning while we were doing a salmon tour, and he was saying that in Judson Park, the water was up to the picnic benches.
Over the grass, and the gangplank went up.
Yeah, wild.
From the dock, which is just another really big red down here.
So, the extremes of today, the norms of tomorrow.
So thanks everybody for tuning in. We're really happy to do these nighttime adventures and show off a little bit of this habitat that's here.
Absolutely.
Of course, our goal is to teach you something about it. So hopefully you've learned and you've had a little bit of fun today. This is, there's a dead crab here.
Gross.
You. Somewhere. Oh yeah, right there. Ugh. There's hardly anything that smells worse than dead crab, gotta tell you. But yeah, our whole mission is really to inspire stewardship for this body of water and all the amazing life that's in it. And the way that we do that is we create learning opportunities. And so during, sorry.
We're just gonna film the back of Rachel's head as she does this conclusion.
So during COVID season, we've dealing with this pandemic, we've really changed our focus from in-person program and learning to this type of digital content. So we're really happy with all the people that have kind of stuck it out with us and helped to grow our digital following. So we appreciate all of you fans out there who are liking and commenting and sharing all of our content. It's
really helpful for those algorithms.
Yeah.
We appreciate it.
And yeah, if you haven't done it already, go ahead and post in the comments, where you're watching from, because we always want to know.
And of course, sometimes we do impromptu programs like this, but we also have a lot of things scheduled. So if you want to go over to our website, you can always sign up to join our newsletter. We started the weekly Wild Side, aka Wild Side Weekly. So if you want to subscribe to that, I think we're doing a good job of having a review of past programs, as well as letting you know what exciting things are coming up next. So,
and if you ever miss something, we try really hard to make sure everything that we do is posted to our Facebook as well as our YouTube account. So you can always go subscribe
Facebook,
on that.
YouTube,
and
all good things. I see that Howard is tuning in.
Ooh, yeah.
Hi, Howard. We miss your jokes. We miss your face. We miss so many people's faces. But yeah, thanks so much for tuning in, and we're gonna take some cool pictures. Yeah, we're wrapping up. I'm gonna end with the similar species of star the same species of star that we started with. Oh gosh, it's too late. The puns are coming. We gotta go. But thanks again for tuning in, and we'll catch you next time. Learn, have fun.